Welcome back to episode 3 of the Straight Line mission across New Zealand. You rejoin us after an incredibly successful but brutal 12.5 hour first day. We covered 21 kilometres from the west coast, staying within 25 metres of deviation in the entire day. After what felt like a heartbeat, we woke up and packed up our camp, feeling sore and achy all over. We were keen to get underway, as we were well aware of the brutal ascent that we'd have to tackle if we wanted to make it to our scouted camp location before nightfall. Despite still being exhausted and scratched from the previous day, both Finn and I were grateful to have clean and dry clothes to walk in. Oh, it's cold. No, up here. Yes, that's right. Around 15 metres into day 2, we had to swim through the river that we'd camped next to the night before. And I'm sure you can imagine, based off its colour, what it felt like with all our cuts and scrapes. Yeah. Oh, good. After the disgusting stream, we faced a new and concerning challenge. Corn. We both agreed coming into the mission that it wasn't cool to trample some poor farmers' crops. However, luckily for us, the corn had been planted in nice rows, with big gaps in between that we could carefully step in without inflicting any harm to the plant. We were reassured by the landowner that this would be perfectly fine. One of them's got really sharp horns, so it's coming over. After the night to mull over our encounters with the livestock the day before, we were both not in the mood to be bullied by bovines anymore, and we vacated their premises with great haste. Go. Oh my god. Okay, you've got to think. It's probably electric, but... Oh, let's go! Oh yeah. Take cows. So that was only Finn missed the cows part like 4 or 5. Oh my heart. So on that road we just met our support crew and they dropped off to us some rope, paddles, and then on my back I've got a big inflatable kayak that folds into a backpack. And so now we're just walking for about 3 kilometres to get to the Manawatu, where we have to do our 3 crossings of the river today. So that's good, but first we have to get through another field of cows, which is becoming a recurring part of our journey. Pass this on to you. Could you just take this before I get over? That's the big kayak there. Cool, I'll take that back. Oh wow. Nerves were now increasing as we were approaching the first dense cluster of farmyard buildings of the day, and we figured that especially since it was no longer the weekend, our luck regarding the absence of landowners was bound to run out. Approaching this unforeseen obstacle, we weren't exactly sure what to expect, but soon discovered that it was a cattle race. Although not a particularly challenging obstacle to cross, the possibility of a nearby farmer herding cattle down it prompted us to scamper through as quickly as possible.
It's like a milking. Oh, there's a whole chain of cows waiting to come down here, so we should be fast. You can see that. So I think they come down here to be milked or transported or whatever. I don't know if there's a milking shed or not. You hop over and then I'll give this to you. And if you get seen, we'll get seen. Oh, from this one. Go faster, so. Let me just get over this fence. Come to this post here, I'd say. Oh my gosh. Gonna go on.
During the planning stages of our mission, the 350-metre crossings of the mighty Manawatu were always in the backs of our mind. We had several people, including an outdoor instructor, suggest crossing on an inflatable flamingo. We had many other suggestions, including jumping, swimming, running really fast, ziplining, rowing, having a really bouncy trampoline, or even getting a nearby cow to carry us across. In summary, the general thought we had was to just send it, as we had done for the previous day, which in its fairness had worked mostly to our benefit. However, Finn and I, and perhaps more importantly our parents, weren't so keen on going to a hugely polluted and swiftly flowing river without a plan, so eventually we settled on the much more sensible, but in hindsight deceptively sketchy, inflatable kayak.
Well, we're going to blow up the kayak probably. Hey Finn, do you want to come over here to blow it up? Yeah. I just feel like having no sticks underneath is probably a good idea. Is it far off? Cool, okay. Yep. Cool. It doesn't need to be that firm. Yeah. I'm just trying not to scratch the kayak so it bursts. Just be careful dragging it on that. Successful. Wait, what is it? Oh, the river stinks.
The river crossing technique we employed involved the first person paddling across, while the second person kept hold of a rope that we tied to the back of the kayak. They then would pull the kayak back across using the rope and paddle over to the other side. Here is footage of the second crossing of the Manawatu, taken by one of our support crew, who was standing on the far bank, watching us, as the river was flowing very swiftly, more so than it appears on film. So what actually happened there? Well, being a couple of broke 16-year-olds, when purchasing the rope a few days before the mission, we opted to go for the cheapest option possible, as we'd only be using it a handful of times before the disease-ridden water would inevitably render it useless. In doing so, we also happened to buy the bare minimum in terms of length required for the crossings. Rather naively, we failed to give ourselves some extra wiggle room to account for knots or anything else that might occur during the traverse of the river. Because of this, and Finn was left stranded an agonizing 10 meters from the bank, without enough rope. This, coupled with the current of the river making the crossing a diagonal line instead of bank straight to the opposite bank, led us sadly losing the platinum run as we were forced to regroup and try again. However, the small silver lining of this was due to there only being 50 meters of rope, and me holding one of the ends on the line, he couldn't drift downstream by more than 50 meters. Meaning we just scraped inside the boundary of a gold run still. Unfortunately, due to how intense the situation was, we didn't manage to record Finn's second attempt at the crossing. However, you can see by the GPS that it was much more successful, and actually snuck inside the platinum boundary. Footage resumes as I pull the kayak back across the river.
Come it. Say thank you, Finn. Okay, you checked the wrong line. Should I go up?
Epic fail, it was like
50 meters. Yeah. That was it. Okay, we're about 8 meters to the right. Oh, surely we head for the grass. We're 8 meters to the right of our line now, so we want to push it up by like... So we want to go like 20 meters up. So you get up there just to deflate it and stuff?
Yeah.
Cool. That haze. But yeah, so we've just been looking at the GPS and we weren't quite as accurate as we had hoped to be. With the current of all 3 of these sections of the Mono 2 being fairly swift. So we've broken our platinum run. We're still hoping for gold, and we'll try and keep it as platinum as possible for the rest of the journey. So yeah, I'm just going to get this kayak up and deflate it. We've packed up the kayak and we are off now for about 1.5 kilometers. And we're just be careful because we notice trucks driving just here. Okay, we're online now. This is the road we saw lots of trucks driving past us. Okay, he saw us, but he's just gone through. More cows. Oh, now they're moving to us. Oh, holy, they're huge. They're kind of running that way, aren't they?
For almost every field of cows, Finn and I would always stand still for a moment, contemplating life while just being absolutely terrified. I cut most of these bits out, as they were pretty boring, but I thought I would leave one in, as you may find our discomfort enjoyable.
Put it over. Oh, thank goodness. Here they all come now. Okay. Getting awfully close to the Tuttle Rivers though. Seems like our line's just going to the side of this corn, which is very, very good. So we do not want to be going through all that crop. Meanwhile, the kayak's not falling out of the backpack, so probably going to stop and kind of like falling forwards. Try and pull the netting up a bit.
In total, we lugged that kayak, paddle and pump 3.7 kilometers, so we were able to cross those 3 50-meter wide bends in the Manawa 2. We were incredibly excited to make it to the next road where we could drop it off to our support crew and be free of such an inconvenience.
So, oh, missing the corn, let's go. Far out. So we've just come over the embankment, and on the other side there's what do you call it, like a pond? Not really, it's like a marshy patch. So this is not expected. We have 600 metres till the road.
But what road is he referring to, you may ask? It is my absolute delight, honour, and privilege to reveal to you the big secret regarding our line. Almost 3 kilometres of perfectly straight road. Back in the New Zealand winter of 2021, Finn and I started planning by trying to find an achievable line. Due to the Southern Alps, Tararuas, Ruahines, and not wanting to step foot anywhere near Auckland, we found this area seemed to be the only realistic section a proper straight line could be done. However, we were having a hard time with this section here, as the satellite and street view imagery we were using made it appear that the vast number of fields could be full of crops. Now this was an obstacle that we weren't prepared to just soldier through, so we had to return to the drawing board. This is when an absolute miracle happened. I found a road that cut straight through the concerning area for almost 3 kilometres without any bends or turns. Despite the odds being astronomically low, we extended the trajectory of this road the entire way from the west coast to the east coast to give it a quick check to see if it was feasible. We could not believe it when the obstacles along the line were very achievable in the scheme of things. So long story short, our entire mission is effectively an extension of this one road all the way across the country.
We're now about 100 metres from Humes Road, where you can drop off the kayaks, or kayak singular. So that'll be a massive burden lifted.
At last, we had made it to the straight road, and we didn't have to carry our cumbersome kayak a step further. We were both incredibly excited to experience what we felt was a very well-deserved, laid-back few kilometres. However, with bodies scratched up, sore all over, and energy drained by the scorching sun that beat down upon us, we were still very well aware of the brutal ascent we were about to attempt, as we climbed into the foothills of the Tararuas.
Big old hill.